Greetings. I thought I'd make another video. The intention was to do the second song of the Ultravox Rage and Eden album, but pretty sort of mind blown really with a few videos and audiobooks I've been listening to lately, which I think are worth sharing. First one, which I've listened to about 3 times, is The Mystery of the Mind by U.S. Anderson, which you can find on the Brian Scott channel. It's also in the playlists on this channel, as are all the videos that I mention in this. But it'll certainly give you a very good explanation of how the two halves of the mind works, the mind being distinct from the brain, as U.S. Anderson says. I think it was something along the lines of the surgeon's knife and the biologist's probe still can't tell you the power and the source of the mind. Well, you're not going to find anything trying to look at it from the perception of a 3D reality. But what is so wonderful about this, The Mystery of the Mind by U.S. Anderson, it ties in so neatly and reiterates what Neville Goddard says in one of the more recent lectures. Again, you can find this on the Brian Scott channel and in the playlists. It's called Keep the Sabbath. Now, I just to sort of give you a sort of an overview, I mean, pretty much everybody knows the term the Sabbath, keeping it as a day of rest. But when we're talking spiritually and in its true meaning, it means something totally different. It's to do with thought manifestation, what you create in your imagination, what you feel, what you draw towards yourself. Because if you're going to keep going back and worrying about just hypothetically, you wanted to manifest, I don't know, a Ferrari, just for argument's sake, and a day goes by, a week goes by, and you just keep going back thinking, well, it still hasn't come yet, it still hasn't come yet, where's this Ferrari? I've got the power to bring anything towards me, where is it? Well, you're not allowing that Sabbath, are you? You're not allowing that. Everything in this reality is subject to time, so you have to allow things unfold. The unseen doesn't work in a way that we can understand in the physical. It defies the physical. Now, I must also say that this silver thread of truth is not just dead writers, dead gurus, and whatever. It's actually living beings, and straight away I can recommend you the Talk of Talks, You and the Power of Your Attention. That's my beautiful friend Christine C channel. Again, it's in the playlist, which I will have to correct the title. I think it was under our old channel name, The Dreaming One, but you can find that in there, and I would recommend, well, listen to it all, but when you get to about 18.5 minutes, when she talks about imagination, it's the same divine message coming through. Also, listen to Beliefs Aren't Needed by Anna Brown. It's a very short video by a very enlightened soul. And everybody says about the word belief has the word lie in it. If you take that away, well, what are you left with? Be Eve. It's referring to the divine feminine, allowing that to come through. It was what I showed you on the Ultravox original album cover, that sort of hair, the right side, yeah, the right side of the brain. I'm having to think in mirror images as if you're being the drawing, but that right side of the brain, the subconscious, the unconscious, that is basically the Eve is the ever-loving wife in a partnership, and it doesn't distinguish the difference between right and wrong. So if you have that feeling of I want money, well, the subconscious side of your mind will hear I want, and it's okay. You want the feeling of wanting more, well, that's what you're going to get. So it's very important, this dialogue between the conscious and the subconscious. This word belief, I mean, you can see it in action when people believe something, regardless of whether it's true or false, and you're being shown something that is absolutely fake all the time on the media screens. It's described as CGI, green screens and so on. But even if it is not that, it's still the misleading messages. They talk about in the UK that the hospitals are near critical on bed spaces. Yeah, maybe they are. But don't forget that they've made, over the successive years, they've made cut after cut after cut, so there are actually less beds. So you can talk about that in terms of percentage, but it's a misleading figure. But it's the same with everything in this reality. The problems are created by the same system that then gives you token sort of solution ideas. Things like registered charities that are sort of cancer research, for example, when it's well known, especially within the spiritual community and amongst the homeopathic community, that there is no need to even get any of these diseases anyway in the first place. Most of it is through the cess in the process of the food that we're given, and just look at the infrastructure, the way it is geared up to, it's like a stranglehold, taking away the freedom of choice, taking away the independent traders, leaving you with basically a Orwellian Big Brother communist society where you won't have a choice of even supermarkets. You will have one supermarket which will join the same, or it is already in its dressed up forms, whether you call it Tesco, Sainsbury's or whatever. It's still just repackaged, relabelled. Just look at a Nescafe jar and look how, when that shape of that glass changes, that's the all the supermarket brand jars follow suit. Coincidence? Centralisation of the process, I would say. Also, another book, an audio book that is worth hearing, it's on the You Are Creators channel, another very good channel for spiritual wisdom. The Subconscious Mind, Your Helper, Your Builder, by Dr. Joseph Murphy. Again, it's got that same message about the subconscious mind, the power of the imagination that we all have. You put the limits on to what you want to imagine and what you'll accept, what you'll believe. The one thing I found when we're walking these two worlds, you've got the internal and of course you've got the external. But whilst it is walking that narrow path and seeing both sides of the coins, both sides of the coin, should we say, being aware of it, not being ignorant of that external world, it's weaving your way through it, using your imagination, using your creativity. Because personally, what I'm finding is all these sort of, shall we say, well-known names that are in the public eye being those TV screens again, the various fear stories that are put out start to dissolve and fade away. It is very much like the Disney Merlin film I watched recently, where I forget the character, I think it was think it's Bonham Carter, possibly. No, she was the other character. I can't remember the actress's name because, again, they play many parts. But the old way, this old sort of Queen of the Night, she loses her power because everybody turns their back on her. They don't give any attention. This is what Christine was saying. And think of the word attention. It's a tension on your mind, just like a fishing line hook. Jesus, the fisher of men, causing a tension. Now something has got your attention. It's taking your energy, because where the attention goes, the energy flows after all. So we all unknowingly empower the things we don't want just by thinking about them. So I just sort of made a few notes here as well, which I'll sort of add into this video. It's sort of this was never intended to be a video, but I just wanted to share some of the wonders that that you've got on YouTube through different channels. There is those golden nuggets. It's like when you're mining for something. I mean, how much time does a miner, say with a gold mine, how much panning do you have to do? How much extracting, sifting through till you find those little bits of gold? So I never mentioned on the Ultravox one the word ultra. It's a Latin prefix, means located beyond. Well, the beyondness of things. The Creator is in many forms. The access point is pineal, the pineal gland. Now the vox again comes from Latin, which basically just means voice, hence you've got Ultravox. Now going back to the idea of this being, everything external to you is a screen, and it's what you take in from that screen through the eyes of the deceiver, and what you then project out onto that screen vocally and visually and through your actions. There's that term critical mass. Well, if that is a film or a vial, and you've got some really piss poor actors playing many parts, playing the opposition, and it's full of glaring errors and holes like a piece of Swiss cheese, then effectively we are the film critics. So what happens when things reach critical mass? Say in 100 people, if 30 people were all pointing out and saying the king has no clothes on, I think surely the tide would turn, and the other 70% would also start to realise that, yeah, the king doesn't have any clothes on, he is naked. It's let go of the ego, and it's like, well, if you can't see the king's clothes, then you're not worthy, there's something wrong with you. So, I better lie and say that the king's wearing clothes then. It's as simple as that, really. But I don't think it's far away. There's, in various methods, astrology, a predictive computer program that analyses so much and is accurate for at least 2 years, I believe, and then it's sort of 50% accurate after the 2 years, and many other things, and also from feeling. I think that most of us share, that are going through this process of this year. As we get towards the summer, there is going to be some kind of disclosure, which may actually then lead to more people seeing that the naked truth, shall we say, that is right in front of us, that we have been lied to, but this is just a game. We are co-creators. This is just an experience in which we have to learn and grow. I forget what I was listening to earlier, but it spoke of, in the terms, it may well have been Abraham, one of the Abraham Hicks channelings, that the Creator is gathering this information through the experiences. So individually, whilst these experiences might seem bad, collectively they're not. And remember, it is only a now moment that passes. But I mean, when you've got a now moment like this, ouch, mind my head. When you've got a now moment like this, when we're not quite in March yet, and I think you can see it there, beautiful blue skies. I've got the sounds of nature, and alas, a chainsaw every now and again in the background, but such is life. And take the rough with the smooth. Do I allow it to upset me? Do I give it any attention? Or do I just focus on the good bits, the sounds of the nature? That's an individual choice we all have on this one. So yeah, I think that sort of concludes this little video. Thank you for all the wonderful words of encouragement, the wonderful support, lovely messages. I think we'll go on to the next Ultravox song. We'll carry on with that series. It's a beautiful day, and then not one but 2 videos today. So I will say ta-ta for now, Ilokesh, and I think it was Mystic Mama C said, haven't seen your face, so you have now. First time in a while. But it's more about the message than sort of the visual. It's subjective, what we like or what we don't like. That's from the subconscious side again, which the conscious will have a dialogue with, or what it likes or doesn't like, depending on experiences in life. But it's a truth known only to one. Only you know what you like and what you don't like, and doesn't make it right or wrong, does it? As long as it's not harming anything or anyone else, then I don't see any problem with any of it. So a few words there, and on with the show. The show must go on. Ta-ta for now.